today it is all about the MiniMoog. It's like one of those instruments where you're like, oh my gosh, what is that sound? I have to know what that sound is. And the answer is always going to be the MiniMoog. So my question is really, how does it sound so full and so good when it can only sound one note at a time? We're going to dive into it. We're going to talk a little bit about just what it is and why it sounds so amazing. What is the MiniMoog? Well, it comes from the company Moog Music, founded by Robert Moog, a pioneer in the industry. Really, this company has created some of my all-time favorite synthesizers. I know in terms of synthesizers, we've been talking about some absolute legends, but for me, the sound that a Moog creates just really hooks me and really just makes me want more of it. The MiniMoog was this legendary synthesizer that was released in 1970. It made a huge impact on the industry and it shaped the sounds of many different, I would call them experimental artists. And maybe that appeals to me so much because it has that creative experimental side to it. The MiniMoog is an analog synthesizer, meaning it generates sound electronically using voltage-controlled oscillators. Oscillators generate the basic sound waves. Think sawtooth, square wave, or sine wave. You can turn them on and you can turn them off and you can combine them to create a really thick, lush, fat sound. The MiniMoog features a monophonic design, allowing for the creation of one note at a time. This is where I think the MiniMoog is so incredible because it's monophonic. So that means when you're hitting a C and an E, depending on which one you hit first, only that one is going to come out. Or depending on your parameters, if you hit C and then change notes, it's going to switch to an E, but not sustain the C, even if you're still holding it. The MiniMoog also has a voltage-controlled filter, VCF, that shapes the sound by selectively allowing certain frequencies to pass through, including the classic Moog sound, characterized by its really warm low end. Other notable features of the MiniMoog include an envelope generator for controlling the dynamics of the sound, for example, attack, decay, sustain, and release. Also, if you're ever tweaking around or playing around in different music software and you see something labeled ADSR, then that's what that stands for. Attack, decay, sustain, and release. It's a way of shaping the sound envelope. A modulation section for adding modulation effects like vibrato or tremolo, kind of giving it some movement, and a built-in keyboard for playing the synthesizer, which is super useful because if you really want to get your hands on the instrument and manipulate the pitch using a keyboard, you're going to want a synthesizer that provides that. Over the years, MiniMoog has been reissued and modified, including the MiniMoog Voyager and the MiniMoog Model D app for iOS. As much as I love the MiniMoog and I have this app on my phone, I haven't dabbled with it much. I don't like the way that sounds coming out of my phone. If I'm producing music and creating music, I really want to hear it through my good monitors or a really good set of headphones. And that's just me. If you have, or if you've used any of these other models of the MiniMoog, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments about how you feel about each one of them, especially if you've ever played the original. I have not played the original. I would love to, but I have not played the original. The version that we're going to be playing today is the Arturia version. So now I'm going to dive into my VST, or Virtual Studio Technology. This is an audio plugin in a software interface that integrates software synthesizers and effects units into digital audio workstations, or DAWs. All right, so my DAW is Ableton Live, and my VST is Mini V3, which is Arturia's version of the MiniMoog. All right, so here it is in Arturia's version of the MiniMoog's glory. Here we have our controllers. We have tune, glide, mod mix, and then we have our oscillator bank. I love how this is like broken up into such clean little categories. We have oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3, and then we have like these switches, which do cool things. You can pick right here which waveform you want each oscillator to emulate. And then we have a mixer. We have the volume, and each one is for each oscillator. So you can really choose how much you want of each mixed in. External input volume, noise volume, that's a little bit of a that's noise. You can choose whether you want white noise or pink noise. So white noise is all ranges of the frequency. Pink noise is actually a little bit of a lower frequency than just the whole gamut of left to right frequency. Then we have filter modulation, keyboard control, and that leads us into the modifiers. We have the filter, which we talked about. That's that attack, decay, sustain. And then we have the loudness control, attack time, decay time, sustain level. And then we have our main output. That's basically your volume that is controlling the whole package of the sound that you're creating. Then we have a voice detune, which is cool. Now you do have on this version some polyphonic capability. However, I'm going to keep it off because I'm talking about Moog in its earliest form was just monophonic. And in all honesty, it doesn't have to be anything else. Feel free to disagree with me. Sometimes I'll be playing an instrument that's monophonic and I'm just like, dang it, I want to build on this and I want to make chords. So I guess it's a good feature to have that you can turn on. But I don't know, the whole purpose of this video is to talk about how incredible it is being monophonic. And then down here, you can turn the glide on or off, the decay on or off, the legato on or off. You have this bend on or off. You can bend the notes. And then you have just your basic dials here. So that really controls how the keyboard's going to react to what you're playing. So just to illustrate the monophonic effect, I'm hitting an A right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a C after it while still holding the A. So nothing happened. It just kept sustaining that A because the monophonic nature of it was like, well, no, the first note that you hit was the A. So that's the only note that matters. I can hold this A. And I'm just like hitting all the keys and nothing's going to change. Monophonic. It's awesome. So I'm going to mess with the controllers, the tuning. I think I want to mess with the glide. Let me show you what the glide does. It kind of creates like a portamento effect. So if I'm switching back and forth between two notes, it's almost going to sound like I'm on a guitar sliding back and forth between those two notes. And I do like that. I'm going to turn that way up. All right, so if I turn it way up, I'm hitting G and then I'm hitting D, but it's like G, and then it slowly goes up to the D. I'm going to do it again so you can hear it. It's cool. I do like that. I think I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I like that kind of wow. I like that. That's cool. Mod mix. Let's see. turning on the oscillators. Right now, it looks like it's set to a sawtooth. Yep. I do love a good sawtooth. I think I'm going to keep oscillator 1 there. But then I want a really fat, wide sound. So I'm going with a square wave. And if you want a really fat sound, you can double the square wave and it'll give you that fatter sound. So my volume for each of these oscillators is set to 10. You know what? I actually don't like the sound of the 2 square waves. I'm going back to sawtooth. It's better though. I'm not sure about how much portamento is on it too. And honestly, you could go crazy. I could go crazy playing this. I really could. I'm not going to. Let's talk about some amazing artists that use the MiniMoog. Herbie Hancock. They get experimental in his group, which makes sense that they would play around with the MiniMoog. Another great jazz musician was Sun Ra. He was a innovator, poet, jazz musician. He was quite a pioneer with the MiniMoog and used it quite a bit. Another group that used the MiniMoog was Kraftwerk on the recording Autobahn. And here's a fun one. Dr. Dre is known for using the MiniMoog apparently. So I have to go back and listen to all this stuff, listening for that particular instrument. I just don't think I expected it there. But the band that is my favorite example for this incredible instrument is none other than one of my favorites, Pink Floyd. You can hear the MiniMoog on their track Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It's a wild trip, honestly. Sometimes you just want to listen to it and just feel stuff, It takes you on a journey. Their keyboardist, Rick Wright, I feel like he was just kind of on this sonic journey trying to find these tones and sounds, and it just really embodies what I think of as sonic exploration. So if you liked this video, please like this video, you know what I mean, and subscribe to my channel because I want to share all this cool stuff with you. All right, have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.